Okay, so I know I look a little crazy, but that's only because I've already done my brows and I've already primed and set my eyelids. So before we jump into the tutorial, I just wanted to give a little background on the palette itself. So this is the palette and I think it's super pretty. It's just a white cardboard with silver lettering, and on the back it says Morphe x Jaclyn Hill. So on the inside, when you open it, the first thing you see is this little quote that Jaclyn wrote to her subscribers. So it says, "This palette is dedicated to all my living subscribers." So a little more about the palette. There are 17 matte shades and 18 shimmer shades. Oh, before I keep going, if y'all hear any popping or anything like that, it's because I'm recording this video on July 3rd. So tomorrow's 4th of July and I guess everybody's testing out their fireworks. So if you hear anything like that, that's what it is. Anyway, so yeah, there are 17 mattes and 18 shimmers, and I've already tested it out and it's so beautiful. I absolutely love it. So I thought it would be cool if I brought a tutorial with this palette. So I'm not sure what look I'm gonna do yet, but I love my warm tones, which is why I bought this palette. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. Okay, since I already have my eyes primed and set with translucent powder, I'm gonna go in with a transition shade. So I think I'm gonna go in with, I believe this one is called Pukey. This one right in the center. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that. And these shadows are honestly so pigmented, you really don't need a ton. So we're gonna go in with this one first. So we're gonna pop that right in the crease. And what I like to do when it comes to my eyeshadow, I like to start a little at a time and just work my way up. I don't like to go in with an excessive amount of product because then it's going to be super hard to blend out depending on what product you're using. So I dip my brush back in one more time just to intensify this crease color. And I'm just going in windshield wiper motion, so just back and forth. And the brush that I'm using is actually from a BH Cosmetics brush set that I found at, I think it was like TJ Maxx or Marshall's. I'm not entirely sure, but I do remember buying it at one of those stores. I didn't actually buy it online. So I'll make sure to link down below that brush set that I'm referring to so that you guys can take a look at it. It's a really good, that's a firework. It's a really good set for beginners. It's actually one of the very first set of brushes that I actually bought. So I still use them to this day and they work great for me. So like I mentioned, I'm just building up the crease shade with the same shade. Sorry, I blinked out there. I love these shadows. They're honestly so pigmented and pretty. There's nothing not to love about these eyeshadows. There's been a lot of controversy about them not being pigmented enough, but I honestly don't see how people could think that because these shadows are just amazing to me. And I think if they were any more pigmented, I probably wouldn't like it, honestly, because when a shadow is too pigmented, sometimes it's really, really, really hard to blend out, and these are just milled so finely, and they just create the most perfect shades. I absolutely love this palette. So now with barely any product left on the same exact brush we've been using to build up that crease shade, I'm just gonna go back and forth to make sure everything's blended in seamlessly. So now I'm just gonna build up the crease and go in with this shade right here, right below the Pukey shade. And I'm just gonna place this right below the crease with the same exact brush. So I've already dipped into the palette a few times with the same shade. So we're just intensifying the color that's already there. I'm so bad at keeping one eye closed while having the other opened. I watch all of these YouTubers and they're so good at it. I feel like I look so dumb because I'm like, I am so in love with this shade, the one right below Pukey. It is so pretty and they're blending out so flawlessly. And now with the Wet n Wild blending brush, I'm just gonna go ahead and blend everything together so that everything looks seamless and there's no harsh lines between the colors that we're using. So I get asked a lot how I learned how to do eyeshadow. I mean, I'm not the best. I'm actually not that good, really, if I say so myself. I really just watch and learn. That's honestly all you can do when it comes to makeup. It's a lot of trial and error, and you just have to be really patient with yourself. So that's really the best advice that I could give anybody who's beginning with eyeshadows. I think having a good blending brush such as this one from Wet n Wild is like a major key to having a flawless eyeshadow look. You could have the most simple look just by using this one brush. So having a good blending brush is essential to having a flawless eyeshadow look. And the good thing about these brushes are that they're only $1. These Wet n Wild ones, they have like a whole collection, and you can get them at Walmart, Walgreens, Target, and they're only $1. So it's a really good investment to just buy the whole collection of brushes that they have. They even sell them online. So I'm just blending everything together at this point. So next I'll be going in with this shade right here. And this is an IT Cosmetics blending brush. It's actually my best friend's. Juliana, I still have your blending brush if you're looking for it. She's probably dying without it, but I always forget to give it back to her. She left it at my house a long time ago and I still haven't given it back to her. I just forget. It's not that I'm trying to keep it or anything. I'm just kidding. So we're just popping that right on the outer V. And I'm just placing the shade right on the outer V. So I'm kind of just like setting the powder there. And then I'm blending it in, and we're going in circular motions. And with any product you have left on the brush, you just want to go back into the crease and blend it all together. And with any product left over, we're just gonna go into the crease with that. So circular motions for the outer part of the eye, and then windshield wiper motions for the inner part of the eye. And then with the same Wet n Wild blending brush, we're just gonna blend everything together. Oh, and sorry that my hair looks a hot mess. It's because I'm planning on filming how I curl my hair after this tutorial, so I wanted to keep it natural for that. Now that everything is blended together, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the first shade we went with, and we're just gonna place that right in the crease so that we don't lose that transition color. For a shimmer shade, we're gonna go in with this one right here, right above that really beautiful royal blue shade. So I'm gonna dip it into the product. And Jaclyn Hill does mention in her video when she was talking about the product that these shimmer shades actually work best if you dip your brush into the product and then spray it with something like Fix Plus or a setting spray. So I'm gonna go in with my Badescu facial spray, and I'm gonna spray the brush. She also did mention that they also work best with your finger, so you could also go in with your finger and go right into the lid. And I'm just gonna take this in like 3/4 of the lid. I'm not gonna go all the way out. I'm actually gonna go in with my finger now to just intensify the color. Yeah, they work a lot better with your finger. I'm still trying to learn everything about this palette. There's just different ways to really enhance these shades, so I feel like using your fingers a lot better. And now with the other side of the same shader brush we were using, oh I'm sorry, I never even mentioned which one it was. It's the same brand as the one with the blending brush. I'm just gonna blend this all together with the same brush that I used in the beginning for this shade, just to smooth everything out. And with the BH Cosmetics blending brush, I'm just gonna go ahead and blend everything together. The only downside of the Jaclyn Hill palette is that it doesn't come with a creamy matte shade, so I'm gonna go in with my Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, and I'm gonna go in with the White Peach shade and put that right in my brow bone. And just to blend all of that together, I'm gonna go in with the beige blending brush and just blend everything in one last time. So this is the eye look. I think it's really pretty, and it's super comfortable to wear. I don't feel like I'm overdoing it or it's just too much makeup. For me, this is something comfortable to wear, but you're more than welcome to tone down any shade you'd like. So next I'm going to be going in with my NYX Matte Liquid Liner. It's my favorite liner at the moment. I'm still trying to get the hang of liquid liner. I was using Kat Von D Trooper for the longest time, but I really wanted to get to know how to use the little brush tip. So I'm just gonna go in with this, and I'm just gonna create a line. And I'm simply just going across my eyelid. I'm gonna do a wing because I do want the eyes, like the eyeshadow, to be the main attraction. Okay, so now that we have our liner on, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with some lashes. And the lashes that I'll be using are the Ardelle Wispies. So while the lash glue dries, I'm gonna go ahead and put some mascara on my lashes, and I've been loving this Essence Lash Princess Mascara. I've heard it's a dupe for the Benefit Roller Lash. I've never tried that one myself, but I really like using this mascara. So now that the lash glue has dried, I'm gonna go ahead and place my lashes. And if you guys would like a tutorial on how to place or how to apply false lashes, let me know. I'll be more than happy to film that for you guys. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but the lash glue that I like using is the Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive with aloe. It's the clear one, and I really like it because it's like a brush tip and it's not like one of those squeezy ones. I feel like you just have more control over how much product you're placing on the lash. Okay, so now that my eyes are done, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe away any fallout that we might have had. And sometimes it may not look like there's not any fallout. Like, I hardly saw any, but I always do this, and look how much product there was on my face. So that would not have been good if I did not wipe that away. So now I'm gonna go in with my Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. This is absolutely one of the best foundations that I've tried from the drugstore. It's medium to full coverage. I normally like medium coverage, so I don't go in with as much as some people like to do, but you're willing to go as full coverage as you like. So it has like this spatula tip to it. So I'm just gonna dot this all over my face. I literally use this foundation so much more than my Too Faced Born This Way one, which is a little disappointing because that one was so expensive, but it's okay. I'd rather fall in love with a cheaper version of my favorite foundation than the more expensive one, so that's the way I look at it. So now I'm just gonna blend it all in with my L'Oreal Beauty Sponge. And it's very important that your sponge is damp because then it's not gonna work the way it's supposed to. And I try not to focus my foundation too much on my under eyes so that way my under eyes don't look so cakey, because I do like using concealer on my under eyes. So if I were to put like a lot of foundation and then a lot of concealer, with the dryness that my skin suffers from, it would just look like a hot mess, especially when I go and blend it out. So I try not to put too much foundation under there, but I do put a little for the coverage. So now I'm gonna go in with my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer, and this is in the shade Light Ivory. So I'm just gonna go in a downward triangle motion, and this concealer is pretty full coverage as well. And I do realize that this is a very light concealer. I just like to have a very bright under eye. So I also put this in the center of my forehead, on the bridge of my nose, above my cupid's bow, and some on my chin. And now with my Ulta Beauty Sponge, I'm going to go ahead and blend all of this in. And I like to start blending in with my T-zone because I don't have as much concealer there. I feel like it just makes more sense to start blending where there's the least amount of concealer, because if I were to go in, for example, right here from the very beginning and then go from like all over my face and then go down my T-zone, I'm just going to be placing more product in the areas that I want the least amount of product in. Does that make sense? I hope so. So now I'm going to go in with my Coty Airspun and I'm going to set all of that concealer. I don't think I mentioned it, but this is the translucent powder that I was using. So with the same powder, I'm going to go ahead and set the rest of my face. I seriously don't know where my bronzer is. It was in my hand the whole time. I'm taking 2 summer classes, so I have an excuse to be so clueless right now. So I'm just going in with the NYC Sunny bronzer, and I'm just bronzing up my face. I feel like this bronzer looks super orange on camera, but it really doesn't look that bad in person. And I don't like to be too precise with my bronzer. I just place it everywhere. And if you eat too much pluckers like I do, you're gonna have to bronze up this double chin, girl. And now I'm going to contour my nose with the same bronzer. Those fireworks, they are very proud to be Americans. So now that we're all bronzed up, I'm gonna go ahead and do my blush now. And I love this Milani Baked Blush. It is in the shade Luminoso. It doesn't even say on here, but I know for sure this is Luminoso because it's the only blush I use. And I have other blushes, but I just love using this one. And this is a Wet n Wild powder brush. I just like using this one because I like going ham with my blush. And I feel like it's okay too because it's the first thing that goes away. Like, it's the first product I feel like disappears on your skin the quickest. So I put a lot of blush on. And now for highlighter, I'm going to be using the Milani Strobelight Sun and Glow. And this highlight is just blinding. And just to blend everything together, I'm going to use my Ulta Beauty Sponge. And now to finish up the eyes, I'm going to go in with the Pukey color on a Real Techniques shader brush. And now with the same brush, I'm going to go in with this shade right here. I'm just going to put this on the outer corner of my eye. And now for the inner corner highlight, I'm going to be using this shade right here. And again, I'm just using a brush that came in the BH Cosmetics brush set. And to finish off, I'm just going to place some mascara in my lower lashes. And now to finish off the look, I'm going to be using my Rimmel London Dusty Rose lipstick. And now I'm going to be setting my eyebrows with my L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper. I like to do this towards the end just in case I get any product in my eyebrows, such as powder or eyeshadow or anything like that. And now to finish off the look, I'm just going to be spraying my face with some Badescu setting spray. Facial spray, my bad. So this is the completed look. I hope you guys like it. And if you would like more tutorials using the Jaclyn Hill palette, Just go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching.